So, Cape Town's doing something really smart to fire up its economy. Today, we're going to break down this clever, strategic shift they've made, one designed to put development in its most vital areas into overdrive.
You know, it's a classic problem for any big city, right? You've got a long list of important projects, but only a handful of them are real game changers. So, how do you make sure those superstar projects get the VIP treatment they need to actually succeed?
And that is exactly the problem the city of Cape Town saw coming. They realized there was this hidden risk that their most catalytic projects, the ones that are supposed to create this huge ripple effect of growth, were just getting bogged down, kind of lost in the system, and in danger of losing all their momentum.
Okay, so what in the world do we mean by catalytic? Well, think of it like lighting a match. It's not just about building one new thing. It's about a single strategic development that's so impactful it sets off a chain reaction, sparking more investment, more jobs, and more growth all around it. The stakes here are huge.
So facing this risk, the city didn't just tinker with the plan. They did a complete strategic pivot. They took their one big, kind of broad plan and split it into two super-focused, specialized missions.
And this is where it gets really, really clever. The old way was like having one giant bucket where you threw everything in together. Now they've split their focus. Initiative 1.4a now has a clear job: stabilize important transport hubs. But the real game changer is this new thing, 1.4b. It's basically a dedicated express lane for the city's most powerful economic projects.
Let's dive into Initiative 1.4b for a second, because this is the absolute heart of the new strategy. You can think of it as the city's brand new engine, custom-built to drive growth where it matters most.
And its goals? They are crystal clear. We're not talking about vague mission statements here. The mandate for 1.4.b is super specific. Deliver a major boost to the economy, create a ton of jobs, and get housing built in places where people actually want to live. Simple as that.
All right, so we get the what and we get the why. But the real question is, how does all this go from being a plan on a piece of paper to, actual bulldozers on the ground? Let's get into the mechanics of how it all works.
The city's role boils down to this simple but really powerful three-step process. First, they facilitate. They use what they've already got, city-owned land and infrastructure. Second, and this is the key part, they enable. Their job is to create the absolute perfect conditions for the private sector to jump in and invest. And finally, they execute. The era of endless planning is over. The new focus is all about getting projects ready and just getting them done.
And they're not just doing this everywhere. Nope. This whole effort is laser-focused on three economic powerhouses: the Cape Town CBD, Bellville, and that whole commercial hub that connects Claremont and Wynberg.
Okay, let's zoom out for a second and look at the big picture. Why is this, what seems like an administrative shuffle, actually such a big deal for the future of Cape Town?
This line from the city's own strategy document just says it all, doesn't it? The whole idea is to use what the city controls, its land and its investment power, as a lever to unleash a much, much bigger wave of private development. It perfectly shows their role as the facilitator, not the one who has to build everything themselves.
So here's the most important takeaway. Creating this new 1.4b initiative wasn't just about shuffling paperwork. It was a conscious choice to pull these critical projects out of the general pile, put them on a pedestal, and shine a huge spotlight on them. It makes them a visible, top-level priority, which means they're going to get the focus, the resources, and the urgency they truly deserve.
So, the city has laid all the groundwork. The blueprint is clear, the focus is razor-sharp, and the targets are set. With this powerful new strategy locked in, the real question now is, just how fast can Cape Town actually build its future?